Hi there, welcome to the Martens class story. We're nearly at the end of the mystery of the hidden gold. We're on chapter 19. Will their little plan work, I wonder? Let's join them. With the last of her strength, Emily hopped inside the first door she came to and leaned against the wall, cold beads of sweat running down between her shoulder blades. A second later, Scott and Jack piled in behind her. "Is he coming?" Emily gasped. "Yeah, right behind us," Jack told her. They all listened. Fox's footsteps could be heard echoing around the cloisters. "Where have you gone, you little cane toads?" he yelled. The footsteps grew fainter. "He's gone the wrong way," Scott groaned. "We've got to get him back here before the phone message runs out. As if he understood Scott's word, Drift started out from behind Emily and ran towards the booby-trapped cell, growling and barking. "Aha, got you now," Fox yelled. Scott put his fingers to his lips. Jack rolled his eyes. "Like I need to be told to keep quiet when there's a crazed gun-toting Australian gold thief hunting us down." He pressed himself against the wall. "Crackerstow police station?" Emily's voice was heard still playing on the phone. "I'd like to report a robbery." "Oh, no, you don't," Fox yelled, charging into the empty room to stop her. "Now!" Jack shouted. He ran out into the walkway and rammed his shoulder against the door to Fox's room. Scott was right beside him. Jack caught a glimpse of Fox's face as he turned round, eyes darting side to side, searching for Emily. He could hear her, but there was nobody there. Next second, confusion was replaced by icy cold fury as Fox realised he'd been tricked into the cell. He lunged for the boys. Scott and Jack threw their weight against the door, but in the split second before it closed, Jack saw something in the cell that made him jump back in horror. Drift had chased Fox inside and was now snarling around his legs. "Stop!" Jack shouted to Drift. Drift's in there." "Drift!" Scott and Jack yelled in frantic chorus. "Come here!" Drift leapt through the door. Scott and Jack pushed against, but now the door wouldn't close. Psycho Fox had wedged his foot in the gap. Without stopping to think, Jack kicked the foot as hard as he could. The door slammed shut. Scott turned the key. Phew. Jack looked at Scott. "We did it!" Scott grinned. "We actually did it!" Then he shook his head. "Come on, we've got to hurry up. If Fox gets that gun working, he can shoot the lock off." He broke off as Fox roared like a wounded lion and began pounding on the other side of the door. "If he doesn't break the door down first." There was a crunch of splintering plastic as Scott's mobile phone was hurled against the wall. "We definitely don't want to be around when he gets out." Jack looked up to see Emily propped up against the wall behind him. She held up her hand for a high five. "Good work," she said. She was smiling, but her hand was clammy and she was so very pale. Her brown eyes looked too big for her face, like a character in a manga cartoon. "Come on," Scott said. "You look like something on the House of Horrors. I'll give you a piggyback to Gemini." "My teenage hero." Jack laughed. As they hurried across the courtyard, Jack couldn't resist throwing Psycho Fox's own words back at him. "Don't worry," he called over his shoulder. "As soon as we're out of here, we'll call the Coast Guard to come and pick you up." Fox was still hammering on the door. Jack couldn't blame him. He wouldn't fancy being locked up in that cell with the spiders and the bats as darkness fell either. Scott ferried Emily to the boat and then back up the beach to help Jack with the chest of gold. Even with two of them, it was like being in a training for the world weightlifting championship. The light was dwindling fast now. Emily had found the emergency torch on Gemini and was holding it up to guide them to the boat. "Watch out," Jack complained. "The corner's jabbing my leg. I'm going to be covered in bruises." "Just get a move on," Jack snapped back. "You'll have bullet holes to worry about if Fox gets out the rifle, let alone bruises." "Stop going on about that stupid gun," Jack said. "I told you, the gunpowder is damn—" Crack! The words died on Jack's tongue as the shot rang out, bouncing round the walls of the monastery ruins. "You were saying?" Scott panted. Jack grimaced. Okay, let's just hurry. If he's managed to shoot the lock off, he'll be out here any second. They were on the last stretch now, arms burning, legs straining, backs breaking. The boys hauled the chest over the beach. At last they were wading into the water. Another gunshot split the night, and then another. With their last shreds of strength, Scott and Jack hoisted the chest over the side of the boat. Emily pulled it in as best she could, the surge of adrenaline blotting out the pain. She began to push off from the shore while the boys and Drift scrambled on board. Scott took the oars and rowed as hard as he could, but they were not far from the shore when Emily shone the torch back to the island to see Fox running down the beach towards them. He was brandishing the rifle. "Duck!" Emily yelled, pulling Drift down from the bow. Jack tucked his head into his knees. "How many rounds did Fox say were in the magazine?" "4," Emily replied. "How many has he fired?" "4," Scott said. "I think." "You think?" Jack asked. "Scott's right," Emily said. "He fired 1 at us when we ran and 3 more just now." Jack straightened up and looked back. In the torchlight, Fox was aiming the gun straight at him. Will they make it back in time before Fox gets a shot at them? I wonder. Right, join us again. Bye-bye.